Hello, my lovely dovelies. Good to see you again. I wasn't even sure if I was going to film today. Well, I had every intention of filming today, but there are some things that took place today that kind of just threw me way off schedule. Um, for example, I now have a family member who's fell upon some challenging times due to decisions and choices that have been made. And so for the time being, this beloved dear one is staying with me. And I don't have a problem with that. I have an open heart and I want to help as much as possible. It's just made some things a bit challenging, like filming, for example. I had every intention of filming a lot earlier, a lot sooner when I had the natural light because I prefer natural lighting. But it just didn't work out that way. So you have to just roll with the punches. And what's that saying? When life presents you with lemons, what do? You make lemonade. So I'm making lemonade. I'm in the process of making lemonade. And I'm not even sure if I want to continue. Like I said a moment ago, maybe I'll just do this another day when I have the natural lighting, and which is why I'm turning the set around or what have you, if you want to call it a set. It's my set. Um, I don't know. So I'll read the word. If I like what I see, I'll upload it and we can all share it together. If I don't, then I'll just have to shoot another day. Besides, I have so many things, so many irons in the fire. And I thought I was juggling it all, but maybe I'm not juggling it all. I don't know. Yeah, so let's just get into the word. We left off on Genesis chapter 7 the other day. Now, obviously, we'd be reading Genesis chapter 8, and there are 22 verses. I'm going to cut off on verse 11. Hi, I'd like to give a shout out before I continue. Hey, I'm going to give a shout out to, I see you. I'm going to be giving a shout out to my new subscribers. Welcome to the family. I'm so thankful. I'm so glad that you're here. Oma and E. Wells. I'm not really certain what the E stands for. Edith, Elizabeth, Edward, Edgar. I don't know. E. Wells. Who else is there? I'm going to give a shout out to Coco Therese. Coco Tres. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. Do please put the correct pronunciation in the comments section down below, right down there, and let me know how to pronounce your name. And I know there was another that I didn't get to shout out, and I apologize for that. Tochukwu Nwosu, thank you, from Nigeria. By the way, I want to say that shout out to the country of Nigeria on the continent of Africa because I have a lot of viewers from there. Hey, Nigeria. All right. Do please write in the comment section below, where are you viewing from? I'd like to know who you are. Don't be a stranger. All right, so here we go. Genesis chapter 8, verses 1 through 11. And God remembered Noah and every living thing and all the cattle that was with him in the ark. And God made a wind to pass over the earth, and the waters assuaged. Do you think that God forgot about Noah? No. Okay, so for me, remembrance, it's just like when someone expects you to do something and they don't think that you remembered. And they're like, you remember? You're like, yes, I remember. I got you. I'm gonna do it. Don't worry about it. That's the same thing here. God was saying, I remember Noah. I haven't forgot about him because he always knew that his word was going to be written for who? You and me. All right. Verse 2. The fountains also of the deep and the windows of heaven were stopped, and the rain from heaven was restrained, and the waters returned from off the earth continually. And after the end of the 150 days, the waters were abated. Remember, we read before that it rained for 150 days. So maybe I should go back to that. Verse 24, chapter 7. And the waters prevailed upon the earth and 150 days. I was right. So now in chapter 8, verse 2, the fountains also of the deep and the windows of heaven were stopped, and the rain from heaven was restrained, and the waters returned from off the earth continually. And after the end of the 150 days, waters were abated. So it rained for 150 days. All right. All of these streams, everything. It reminds me today of Hurricane Katrina when the rain and the water was so much to where the dams, the water dams, they broke. That's the same thing here. There weren't any dams that I can think of, man-made dams, but all of the waters collectively collided because of all the rain that was coming down. All right. Wow. Wow. Verse 4, and the ark rested in the 7th month on the 17th day of the month upon the mountains of Ararat. And the waters decreased continually until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the 1st day of the month, were the tops of the mountains seen. Told you. The tops of the mountains began to be seen because the water was beginning to recede. So the water there was so much water. I mean, talk about the ultimate flood to where even the tops of the mountains were covered. Everything was covered, okay? Verse 6, and it came to pass at the end of 40 days that Noah opened the window of the ark which he had made, and he sent forth a raven, which went forth to and fro until the waters were dried up from off the earth. So he sent out a raven because at some point the bird has to land, okay? Because it's going to get tired. And that would let Noah know whether or not there was land, there was dry land. Once the raven landed, then he would know, okay, we can come up out of this thing. The land is dry. Also, he sent forth a dove from him to see if the waters were abated from off the face of the ground. But the dove found no rest for the sole of her foot, and she returned unto him into the ark, for the waters were on the face of the whole earth. Then he put forth his hand and took her and pulled her in unto him into the ark. All right, so though the waters were receding, it hadn't receded enough to where all of the land-dwelling animals, could come out of the ark and survive. Because as it says right here, hallelujah, that the water was still covering the earth. It had begun to recede, yes, and you could begin to see the tops of the mountains, but the rest of the planet was covered with water. Now, notice how it didn't mention the raven return. Why do you think that is? If you know anything about ravens, do please correct me. I'm going to make certain. I'm going to look back, and in the next episode, I will tell you whether or not I was correct. Okay, ravens, they are carnivorous, so they eat only meat, right? But they tend to eat dead things. Okay, so can you imagine that which cannot swim, which is everything except for fish? Okay, water dwelling animals, they're going to survive, right? Because they can swim. However, if there were any whales during that time, well, they can swim to the surface, right? And they can still be able to breathe. However, every other living thing, it cannot survive, in water. Yes, animals naturally can swim, but if the water rose so high to the point that even the tallest mountains were covered with water, those animals would not be able to survive. They can't go up that high, one, and two, they can only survive for so long trying to swim around until they are tired. And this is kind of gross. This is macabre, everybody. So get ready in 3, 2, 1, 0. All right. So once they died, more than likely their bodies, if you've seen any of those films where the bodies, when the water, if they're drowning, the body begins to puff up. Ugh, and perhaps, I'm just speculating here, some of the carcasses were floating on top of the water. Disgusting. So more than likely, I would say that the raven didn't return because the raven had something to rest upon. The raven was probably sitting upon some of those carcasses that were floating on top of the water and consuming and able to survive in that way. But a dove, hallelujah, praise God, the dove does not eat dead flesh. So the dove had to come back. So that was how Noah knew that the water hadn't subsided enough for him and the rest of his family and for the animals that were upon the ark to come off the ship, also known as the ark. And the dove came in to him in the evening, and lo, excuse me, sorry, back up, baby, back up. You went ahead of yourself. Verse 9, chapter 8. But the dove found no rest for the sole of her foot, and she returned unto him in the ark. For the waters were on the face of the whole earth, the entire planet, boo boo. Then he put forth his hand and took her and pulled her in unto him into the ark, so from the window. And he stayed yet another 7 days. And again he sent forth the dove out of the ark. And the dove came in to him in the evening, and lo, in her mouth was an olive leaf plucked off. So Noah knew that the waters were abated from off the earth. How did he know? Because now the plant life is beginning to grow. Mhm. All right, so it's been enough time for the plant life on the earth was beginning to grow. So he knew, oh, okay, now the water has receded enough for the plants to reappear or to regerminate or to begin to flourish again. All right. And that is the end because I said I was going to stop off at Genesis chapter 8, verses 11. So I'm stopping right there. I'm keeping my word. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to film when I have natural lighting and I'll have to go through this again. All right. So my lovely dovelies, I'll see you on tomorrow. Genesis chapter 8, verses 12 through 22 until the end. All right. See you, my lovely dovelies. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and indeed subscribe. If you're not sure about that, hitting that thumbs up button, the thumbs up, that means you're liking. Hitting the red subscription, that means you've subscribed. Let's get to 1,000. Can we do it? Yes, we can. Bye-bye. Oh, I've got to turn it off like this because, well, gotta love your family, right?